Good morning, GM. Thank you, everybody here, for choosing to spend your time at our third inaugural NoirCon.
BD. As I was told, that's how you GM here in Argentina. Lovely meeting you all, and GMs to all the English speakers like me. I am Savio, the Product Manager of Noir at Aztec Labs, and welcome so much to the NoirCon itself. We have had some great workshops today that went through, oh, this is not intended. 1 second, let me make sure that's down. Yeah, resting your eyes are always good. Do remember that though. Yeah, we have had some great talks and workshops today that gone through parts of Noir, next door, parts of Aztec, and also a lot on the privacy community side of things. Leading to the afternoon sessions, I'll be kicking it off with a brief talk, a brief overview of what's coming with Noir 1.0 itself. You might have heard of Noir for the first time. Actually, who here, this is your first NoirCon for you? Is this your first NoirCon? Can I get a hands raised? Lovely, wow, that's a lot. Second time? Oh, quite a few as well. I will skip the third one onwards, but oh, okay. Yeah, despite how many times you have been to NoirCon, welcome to the Noir community always. There are a lot of exciting things brewing, both in-house as well as in the community itself. And so yeah, let's just dive in. But before going into the actual 1.0 itself, I do actually want to invite you all to a journey back to the year of 2020. Who here has been in crypto since 2020 or before 2020 even? Nice, quite some OGs around. But yeah, if you can remember, 2020 is the year where ETH2 is still a topic of discussion, which was superseded by proof of stakes or the merge, if you have heard of it. But yeah, back then, people are still discussing the possibility of ETH2 itself. It was also the year where Polkadot, you might have heard of the chain itself, actually launched their mainnet, which, yeah, time flies in this space. And 2020 was also the year of DeFi Summer, if you were around. So Curve, for example, launched that year. Uniswap V2 was launched that year. A lot of exciting things were happening on chain, on Ethereum. And that also brought to an observation where, well, with all the interesting things happening on chain, they are all also fully public on Ethereum itself. And outside of Ethereum, or maybe on tangent with Ethereum, this was also the early days of CK. So this was actually a commit that I pulled from that year from Circom itself. That was how the docs looked like back then. And it was roughly also the years when Plonk is gaining momentum as an academic work. A bit of implementation here and there, but yeah, that was the year of 2020. So this brings us to basically two questions in the year. First of all, couldn't it all have been private? Why should all the interesting things happening on chain must be fully public, fully transparent for everyone? And couldn't the actual privacy works or the CK works be easier? Yeah, Circom is nice, but also it's like circuit crafting language. Plonk is great, so you don't have to worry about trusted setups, but there was barely any implementation, if at all. Which brings to the birth of Noir. This was actually the first commit in the Noir repo in 2020, and with one very simple goal. We simply want to do privacy. We want to make privacy simple to do. We want to make privacy simple to use. So privacy gets everywhere. Which brings us to everything everywhere. Throughout the years, there were a lot of development that has gone into Noir itself. From the first commits to the first version of Noir that we released. This is Noir Alpha that we announced at Devconnect Bogota. And we also announced Noir Beta that came in the year that follows. That was in Devconnect Istanbul. And of course, we also released or pre-released Noir 1.0 last year at Devcon Bangkok. Oh God, you have come up with some better naming. But yeah, throughout the years, there were a lot of changes that accumulated in the language itself. We started with the lovely fields that we all love, that always overflows. So we also added integers, where we can then bound numbers to actually work with. Also control flows, what you might be used to in other languages, if else, for loops, but also a lot more fun, even funner stuff, like operations. You can do comparisons. We have unconstrained functions, which is totally unique to the CK land. Most things are constrained, but sometimes you also want to jump into that unconstrained world to get some additional performance. Guillaume from the crowd would actually be doing a workshop over it later today as well. We also have generics, we also have traits, a lot of fun stuff from other languages like Rust or languages that you are familiar with that could be helpful in building whatever you want to do in CK. We also have profiler. This is actually Maxime talking about and sharing about a profiler earlier this year on how you can actually visualize your performance of your Noir programs, which helps a lot on actually diving deeper and optimizing your programs. And these are just like a brief look into all the things that have been accumulating on the Noir side in terms of what you can actually do with it, what it can actually help you do as well. And it's not just everything, it's also everywhere that involves Noir. So obviously, Aztec has been using Noir as the fundamental language to power both its rollup, but also its smart contract. But we have also been maintaining the Solidity verifier for Noir programs, so you can also deploy your Noir apps on Ethereum or all the EVM chains alike. And the Arbitrum team has also been working on a stylus verifier for you to actually deploy Noir apps on Arbitrum stylus. The Starknet team has been working on a Cairo verifier. The Stellar Soroban team next door actually are also developing a Soroban verifier for you to deploy on there. The Field team has been working with HashCloak on a Sway verifier. The Solana team is also building a Graph 16 backend for you to use Noir on Solana. The World team is building a proof kit for you to maybe even use it on the World chain at some point. But yeah, there are a lot of places where you can use Noir on-chain, but at the same time also off-chain as well. BBJS has the verify function where you can basically verify any Noir proofs in a browser or in any JS environment. Or if you fancy verifying on mobile, there's also the MoPro team. Oh no, the slide cut out. But the MoPro team has also been working on a kit for you to actually do native mobile proofs, but also verification on your mobile phones. And there are also a lot of actually interesting examples that we can see that works fully off-chain as well. The CK Passport team is doing a zero knowledge proof of your passport that can totally work off-chain on a server-client relationship or even P2P. There's also the CK email team working on CK email primitives for you to prove your emails, which can also be verified off-chain. There's also the Fat Labs team working on Terra Escape, which is a fully offline P2P game that is played off-chain as well. There's also the Open Bands team doing a social platform where you can submit zero-knowledge proof of yourself onto the platform to testify kind of your pseudo identity and make social posts around it. So with all the different places and all the different features, Noir sets out to basically do one simple thing, simply privacy, but now also privacy everywhere. Which leads us to the time that we are living in now. Throughout the last few years, things has changed a lot, both within the privacy space, but also in the entire digital space as well. We have been seeing, for example, the Estonian government putting more e-identities on chain as an example on the identity side. The Bhutan government has been working with EF on bringing their identities, national identities, onto Ethereum as well through the initiative. EU has also been pushing the EU digital identity regulation framework to bring more identities on chain. So a lot of identities are getting on chain. At the same time, we're also seeing a lot of, well, we call it real-world assets, but for real-world people, that's probably just assets, bringing real-world assets on chain. Western Union has been launching their stablecoin. Japan has been launching their stablecoin. Even Argentina or Latin America has been launching their stablecoins. Canada has been bringing stablecoins. The US has been bringing stablecoins on chain as well. So we are seeing a gradual shift of momentum of digitalizing a lot of what we might have been seen as important stuff, both on the identity side and also on the financial side. And with all the values coming on chain and coming to the digital world, in parallel to it, we have also been seeing a huge growth in the privacy sense of things as well. Of course, in our Web3 community, we have been seeing a lot of traction going on, catching up on the privacy side. We have seen like Railgun's deposits continuously flowing in. We have seen Zcash shielded deposits flowing in as well. A lot of interesting development on, well, both on the Noir side, but also across a lot of different other privacy projects taking space as well. And with even outside of the Web3 space that we are in, we're also seeing a great traction of privacy awareness as well. With the UK's introduction of the age verification regulation, we have seen, like, for example, Proton VPN picking up like 14 times traction growth just throughout those few days. We have also been seeing, well, the EU regulators planning to impose chat control or basically encryption with backdoors in your chats or messages. And we have been seeing a lot of like grassroots momentum in pushing against that. And this is also a study or survey done by Deloitte, the consultation firm that you might have seen. It might be hard to read from afar, but it was basically asking like how willing or how reluctant are the general folks being willing to share the data with companies or services. The green part is like, I'm willing, and the gray part is basically very unwilling or, well, somewhat reluctant to share data with those services. And we can basically see like it grows from different facets, but the majority of the users aren't actually happy about sharing more data with the applications or the services that they are using as well. And hell, even our favorite YouTuber PewDiePie has been chilling about like Linux. How do you actually get to Graphene OS? Who here knows who PewDiePie is, actually? Okay. For the ones that did not have your hands raised, congratulations on your lovely life that you have. To the ones that actually raised your hands, congratulations to your lovely life as well. But after this week, do go touch some grass, please. But yeah, we have been seeing a shift of momentum on how people are actually caring about privacy as well. Like, it's not just us, you and me, shilling about privacy throughout the years, but people not caring about privacy is just a talk from the previous century at this point. Which brings us to the next chapter. What have we been cooking in the kitchen itself? You might have thought of or had impressions of like what the Noir team does. But what the Noir team does, well, most of us think we just like crash our laptops and get mad at it. But what we actually do, we have been cooking a lot of things in-house as well to basically close the last mile when it comes to privacy itself, as well as bringing privacy to people's hands. We have been, for example, fuzzing Noir the language. If you're familiar with fuzzing, it's basically, well, you can, in one-liner, it's like randomized tests, randomized generated tests for your code base. So we have been fuzzing Noir the language. We are not fully there yet. As you can see, we have a tiny red cross there that we still haven't cleared out, but we have been making progress. We have also been creating a fuzzer for people to actually fuzz their own Noir programs as well. So, for example, if you are building a Noir project, if you are planning to deploy it into production, strongly recommend you to actually fuzz test your program as well to make sure there aren't caveats that you might not be aware of. We have also been working with the Ray Labs team on getting, starting off with Noir programs being formally verified through the LAMPay project. Formal verification, if you think of it, in simple words, it's like mathematically proving that your program is right, in addition to, well, the traditional side of like fuzzing, testing, auditing, etc. And we have also been tightening up our way of actually gathering vulnerability reports from the community as well. We have recently set the GitHub security advisory process up on our GitHub. So anyone can actually report privately to us on bugs or vulnerabilities that they have come across, which is helpful in actually responsibly patching the bug, as well as privately communicating it with projects that might be affected first, and hopefully minimizing whatever damages it could bring. And we have also been working very hard for the last few months over internal audits of the code base as well. We have split the code base up into, I think, at least 10 groups, and this is like one group only. There are a lot of work that we have been going through on making sure we are doing what we expect it to do when it comes to Noir itself. And we also acknowledge that perfect is always the enemy of good. Like, we aren't striking for the perfect security, we aren't striking for the perfect version of Noir before calling it 1.0, but rather we are taking the approach of gradually and progressively securing Noir in-house as well as with the community as well. So with the Noir 1.0 launch coming up, we do also anticipate 2 more external audits, which we have already kickstarted, but has been progressing through on Noir the language to bring further kind of stability, but also confidence in the code base itself. And we also anticipate a lot more security initiatives to come. For example, competitive audits or open audits that you might be familiar with, or bug bounties as well that helps facilitate white hat reports as well as auditing of the code base. And we are here somewhat. We are working towards the 1.0's launch and quite a few of security initiatives that we'll be pulling through, which basically paints out the timeline that we are working against, but also at the same time, if you are actually building in Noir, or if you are interested in building in Noir, then what are the ways that you can actually participate in this timeline? Not just helping us, but also simply using Noir to achieve whatever privacy initiative or privacy application that you would like to use or do. It has been quite a journey since, well, Noir Alpha, Noir Beta, is it coming up? Noir Beta, Noir pre-release, and the current version of Noir. It has been quite a journey throughout the last 5 years developing the language. But how we see 1.0, it's the official starting line for we to actually race towards privacy, to actually race towards production readiness, privacy applications as well. And there are 3 immediate kind of things that you can consider working through. Well, of course, you're always welcome to stick around for NoirCon. We had some great talks earlier, but we have even greater talks coming up later today. Guillaume would be talking about Noir performance, how do you optimize your Noir programs at a lower level in a workshop here. And then the MoPro team would also be talking about how do you actually do native mobile proving with Noir later today in this room as well. Next door in the Aztec room, I believe what's happening right now is the DeFi Wonderland is going through, for example, how do you code your first Aztec smart contract with Noir. In the community room, what's happening right now is the Stellar team is also talking about how can you actually deploy your Noir apps onto Stellar Soroban as well. So a lot of amazing workshops and contents coming up in this afternoon still in this venue, but also at the same time, this is probably the best group of builders that we have gathered in this venue as well. So there are a lot of people for you to like brainstorm ideas against, to hack around ideas against, to build ideas around against as well. So do tap people's shoulder and start chatting as well. And the upcoming ETH Global throughout the weekend, there's also an Aztec track where you can hack around Aztec smart contracts or things that you might have been dreaming of building on Aztec. That would be a good opportunity. If this week is not the week, there's also the Cyberpunk Hackathon that is happening online from mid this month all the way to late this month, or well, December 1. There's also an Aztec track up there where there are also a few ideas on what you can actually hack around. So if this week is not the week, next week could also be your week as well. And with all the things that we have gathered for 1.0 itself, as well as what the community has been building, plus the new era that we are living in now, where there's more privacy awareness than ever, there's more demand for privacy than ever. Now is the prime time to actually build our privacy apps for our parents, for our grandmas, for our friends, and to bring privacy to this world. And it has been an honor for me to actually have worked on the project for so long, not just with the team, but also with all of you on bringing privacy to this world. And I do look forward to seeing you around this place as well, to brainstorm ideas together, to hack around with Noir, to hear your thoughts on Noir as well. And it has been my honor to present you Noir 1.0. And before we go, Noir 1.0 will be dropping 2026 Q2 next year. I'm Savio. Thank you all. Do we have time for questions?
Like if a person wants to contribute to Noir, like from outside Aztec, of course, do you have like a to-do list or a place in which you have like yeah, we have these problems, we need this tooling, please help us to build it? Where can I find that?
Of course. This list has always been an evolving list at some point. But yeah, there are definitely a few things that you could do depending on like your interests or well, your proficiency in Noir or in the stack itself. For example, simply improving Noir's documentation, to me, I would say that's already like a huge leverage that we can pull. There are a lot of content covered in the documentation written by me, myself, but also a lot of the engineers on the team, which might not always be the easiest way to consume the knowledge itself. So if you notice anything, we are always, well, Noir is open source from the ground up, so we are always welcoming PRs on improving, for example, documentations or READMEs, for example. And there are also, if you are more like cryptography oriented or more interested in the, for example, mathematical or algorithmical side of things, then libraries might be a good one as well. There are a great set of libraries today already with, for people to build out what they want to build, but I would imagine there being 10 times more ideas that could only be powered with certain libraries in place. So if you have certain ideas about libraries that you would like to build, feel free to build them and share it in the Noir Discord, share it on Twitter. We are always happy to amplify as well as share thoughts, cross thoughts with you as well. And if you are more a I guess software developer oriented personnel, maybe less crypto interested, or even, but would also like to make some impact in addition to just docs. I would imagine tooling being a very good part and very underexplored part at this point as well. For example, if you make things easier for people to import and export libraries, if you're making things for people to more easily discover different things happening in the Noir space, if you're making certain like menu interactions with Noir nowadays a lot more automatic, those could all be like great ideas for like tooling that could exist and help the bigger Noir ecosystem as well. But fundamentally, I would just recommend you to like try Noir out, talk with people in the space, and see where the gaps are. Those would be the fundamental principle for what you can actually help the bigger ecosystem to grow together.
How about small field support? Is it on the roadmap?
It's not officially on the roadmap yet, but that's definitely something we have been considering for next year. We have been very focused on shipping 1.0 first. But yeah, small field support and a bunch of other features we have been discussing internally has also been growing up on the list itself, where we would be able to tackle hopefully next year after shipping 1.0.
I participated in the previous Noir hack and it was really cool. Sorry to put you on the spot, but is there another Noir hack coming?
I don't know yet. Maybe. But yeah, we'll share more if we do have plans. Thank you.
Okay. Who do you think Noir is most suitable for? Which kind of profile and something like that?
Right. I would say if you are a developer or at least interested to become a developer, then, and if you are interested in doing privacy apps, Noir is for you. It's super easy actually to code Noir. Like I've briefly talked about Circom. I've briefly, well, not briefly mentioned other CK stack as well. But a lot of people like come to me asking about like what do I need to know to start coding in Noir. I've always been telling them you only need to know like very fundamentally how CK proofs work. Like there's a prover, there's a verifier, and basically it's an interaction between them two. Once you get that, it's super easy to start coding. Noir is like very Rust-like. If you're familiar with the language or even not familiar with the language, it's quite easy to pick up as long as you are already somewhat comfortable with programming itself.
What will be the trade-off with more classical like Rust 16 or GrosJS libraries that allow you to do ZK proof but without like the language layer? Is there a trade-off?
Right. So the way that Noir actually is architectured is there's Noir, the high-level language on top, but it actually works with different proving backends. Well, the caveat being some small field backends might be trickier to work with, but the architecture is aimed to be worked with different proving backends. So if you have seen, for example, Burtonberg, the proving backend, that's the proving backend that the Aztec Labs has been maintaining. It's based on UltraHonk, the proving technology. But for example, what the Solana team is building, it's actually a Groth 16 proving backend for you to use as well. So you can actually switch between like different proving backends for different trade-offs. And to your question on what are the trade-offs, Groth 16 is probably the golden standard when it comes to like proving speed, proof sizes. But the biggest drawdown that it comes with is that you have to do a trusted setup or a trusted setup ceremony for each basically version of circuit that you are building. And the problem with that when it comes to actually deploying applications or projects in production is, well, doing a trusted setup, every upgrade might be somewhat reasonable. Like if I'm upgrading from V1 of my app to V2, I do a ceremony with my users and bring things forward. But at the same time, if you're deploying into production, patching your app is also like super important. And I don't think any team would actually like to, for example, whenever they come to a small bug in the circuit and they want to patch it, they run the entire setup again with all the community involved. So that's why the Plonk technology came to place and gradually evolved to what UltraHonk is right now. For some specific use case, it might be slower in terms of proving speed. The proof sizes is also a bit bigger. But the beauty is that you no longer have to worry about a per circuit trusted setup. You just need one trusted setup that we can use from long ago, where a lot of people are already involved to secure it and call it a day and start building your app, deploying your app. So yeah, that's roughly the trade-off between those two. There are a lot more other proving technologies as well. If you are curious to learn more, I'm happy to talk more off stage.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. What kind of tooling you think could be helpful for the Noir ecosystem? And do you think it is necessary to have some tooling related to Noir with a specific blockchain?
Right, that's a good question. I can start with some, I guess, brief ideas on simply vanilla Noir tooling. We had an early version of the debugger, but it has also been falling out of date. So getting the debugger up to speed to the latest version would definitely be great on actually like going through your programs, debugging your Noir programs. I've also gradually been hearing more about how difficult it is to discover and make use of different libraries as well. So I briefly mentioned it just now, but for example, a very nice looking package registry with a package management system could be nice for people to actually know like what are the things available, how can I actually use them or more easily use them as well. And then there are also tooling on, I lost my track of thought there. But yeah, those are some of the like vanilla Noir tooling that could be useful. For the like on-chain part, to be fair, it's already quite simple. Like the proving backend, for example, using Burtonberg as the example, you have the Burtonberg backend, you generate a proof out of it. If you want to use it with a chain specifically, you only need like a very simple either SDK or a CLI tool that well, generates a verifier for the Burtonberg proving backend, deploys it, and then helps people to like, I don't know, transcode that proof into the smart contract syntax that is needed and get it verified on that chain specifically. That part, like if you are a somewhat proficient cryptographic engineer, would only take, what, a few days of work to get a verifier in place. Of course, it would take a bit more time to beautify the thing, to flesh out the thing. But yeah, it should be relatively simple to do if you are going across chains as well. So yeah, if you have ideas, happy to talk more off stage as well. I think that's all the time we have. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Next up, Guillaume will be doing a very nice workshop that Jake would probably introduce. So I will leave the stage to them.